ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। अथ श्रीमन् नारायणीयं दशक 26 गजेन्द्र मोक्ष वर्णनम् The liberation of Gajendra. Indradyumna Pandyakandadirajas Tvadbhaktatma Chandanadrau Kadachit Tvatsevayam Magnadhiraluloke Naivagastyam Praptamatityakamam. The above verse, having 11 syllables in each quarter, is composed in the Shalini meter. There was a king called Indradyumna. He was a Pandya king of the Dravida country. He was very famous and very much devoted to God Vishnu. Once Indradyumna, giving up all his royal paraphernalia, started living in the Malaya mountain. He had matted locks and was in the garb of an ascetic. One day, after taking bath, with concentrated mind and observing the vow of silence, he was worshipping God. At the very same time, by chance, the great sage Agastya came there with a group of his students. The sage expected hospitality, and when he saw that the king was not extending that and was keeping quiet and sitting in a lonely spot and behaving like an ascetic, he got angry with the king. Now coming to the verse, Kadachit, once upon a time, Pandya Kanda Adhirajaha, the king of the Pandya country, Tvad Bhaktatma, devoted to you, devoted to God Vishnu, Indradyumnaha Chandana Adrau, Indradyumna in the Malaya mountain, Tvad Sevayam, in your worship, in the worship of God Vishnu, Magnadihi, deeply engaged, Atitya Kamam, desiring hospitality, Praptam Agastyam, the sage Agastya who had reached there, Naeva Aluloke, the king did not even notice the sage. Kumbhodbhutis sambrita krodhabaraha stabdatma tvam hasti bhuyam bhajeti shaptva tainam pratyagatsopi lebhe hastindratvam tvatsmriti vyakti dhanyam. When the great sage Agastya, who wanted hospitality, saw that the king Indradyumna, engaged in worship, was not welcoming him, he got extremely angry. He cursed the king, saying that the haughty king is insulting the Brahmanas and is unmoving like an elephant. So, the king will be born as an elephant. So cursing, sage Agastya went away along with his followers. King Indradyumna accepted the curse as his fate and soon was born as an elephant. Apannaha kaunjarim yonim atmasmriti vinashinim haryarchanu bhavena yad gajat Vepyanusmritihi. Bhagavata Puranam, 8th Skanda, 4th Adhyaya, 12th verse. Which means he got the body of an elephant, in which there is no memory of the self, but due to the power of his devotion to God Vishnu, he retained the memory of his earlier life. Now, coming to the verse, Atha Kumbodbhutihi, then Agastya, Sambrita Krodha Baraha, getting very angry. Stabdatma Tvam Hastibhuyam Bhaja. O king, you being motionless with haughtiness, you become an elephant. Iti enam shaptva pratyagat. So cursing the king, the sage went away. Saha api, the king also, Tvat smriti vyakti dhanyam, with the blessing that the clear remembrance of God will be retained with him. Hastindratvam lebe, he got the form of a great elephant. Dugdambodermadhyabhajitrikute क्रीडन् शैले यूतपोऽयं वशाभिः सर्वान् जन्तून् अत्यवर्तिष्ठशक्त्या त्वद्भक्तानां कुत्र नोत्कर्षलाभः. Once the leader of elephants, who in his earlier life was King Indradyumna, was playing with other female elephants in the great Trikuta mountain in the middle of the Milky Ocean. By his great strength, he excelled all other animals around him. The poet says that the God's devotees will always be excellent wherever they go. Coming to the verse, Dugdambodehe Madhyabhaji, in the middle of the Milky Ocean, Trikute Shaile, on the mountain Trikuta, Ayam Yutapaha, this leader of the elephants, Vashabhihi Kridan, playing with female elephants, Shaktya Sarvan Jantun Atyavartishta, he excelled with his power all other animals. Tvad bhaktanam kutra utkarsha labhaha na, for your devotees, where there is no excellence, everywhere your devotees excel all others. Svenastemna divyadeshatvashaktya soyam kedan aprajanan kadachit shaila prante garmatantas sarasyam yutai sardam tvat pranunno bhireme. In the caves of the Trikuta mountain, many semi-divine beings like Siddhas, Charanas and Gandharvas lived. In the plains of the mountain existed the garden Rituman of god Varuna, in which there were trees laden with fragrant flowers and sweet fruits. There were many rivers and ponds in which divine ladies sported. In the forest near this Trikuta mountain lived the elephant who in his previous life was King Indradyumna. By his strength and the divinity of the place, the elephant faced no difficulty at all in leading his life. On one occasion, he was tormented with heat and thirst, and so he, along with the herd of elephants, entered a pond near the mountains. The water of the pond was very pure and sweet and was smelling with the pollen of the lotus flowers. The great elephant drank water up to his heart's fill and then plunged into the pond. Along with him, the other elephants also sported happily in the water. The poet says that the elephant entered the pond due to the prompting of the god. Now, coming to the verse, Saha Ayam, that elephant king, Svena Stemna, by his strength, Divya Deshatva Shaktya, by the power of that divine region, Kedan Aprajanan, not experiencing any hardship, Kadachit Gharma Tantaha, once afflicted by heat, Shaila Prante Sarasyam, near the mountain in a pond, Tvat Pranunnaha, prompted by you, prompted by God Vishnu, Yutaihi Sardham, along with the herd of elephants, Abhireme, enjoyed. Hustavaddevalasyapi shapat grahibhutastajjale vartamanaha jagrahainam hastinam padadeshe shantyartam hi shantidosisvakanam. When Gajendra, the great elephant, entered a lake and was sporting happily with other elephants, he was caught by a crocodile. This crocodile, in its previous birth, was a great Gandharva known as Hu. Gandharvas are semi-divine beings and regarded as the musicians of the gods. By the curse of sage Devala, Hu got the form of a crocodile. Referring to the situation of Gajendra, the poet says that Bhagavan gives difficulties to his devotees only to give ultimate peace to them. Coming to the verse, Tavat, in the meanwhile, Hu api, the Gandharva Hu also, Devalasya shapat, by the curse of sage Devala, Grahi bhutaha tajjale vartamanaha, who became a crocodile and remained in the water. Enam hastinam, that elephant, Padadeshe jagraha, caught him by his legs. Tvam swakanam shantyartam shrantidaha asihi. O God, indeed, you give exhaustion to people, to your devotees, only to give ultimate peace to them. Tvatsevaya vaibhavad durnirodham yudyantam tam vatsaranam sahasram prapte kale tvatpadaikagrya siddhyai nakrakrantam hastivaryam vyadhastvam. When caught by a powerful crocodile, Gajendra tried to extricate himself but did not succeed. The other elephants tried to help him, but they were unable to do so. Both the elephant and the crocodile fought fiercely. Sometimes the elephant dragged the crocodile outside the water. Sometimes the crocodile dragged the elephant inside the water. They fought for 1,000 years, and even the gods were wonderstruck seeing this great fight. Finally, Gajendra became weak and his enthusiasm subsided. The poet says that the time for emancipation of Gajendra had come, and so God made Gajendra overpowered by the crocodile. Now, coming to the verse, Tvat Sevayaha Vaibhavat, by the glory of the worship to you, Vatsaranam Sahasram, for thousands of years, Durnirodham Yudhyantam, who was continuously fighting and was invincible, Tam Hastivaryam, that great elephant, Tvatpada Ekagriya Siddhyai, for merging in your feet, Kale Prapte Tvam, when the time came, you, Nakrakrantam Vyadaha, you made him attacked by a crocodile. Artivyakta Praktana Jnana Bhaktihi Shundotshiptai Pundarikai Samarchan Purvabhyastam Nirvisheshatmanishtam Stotram Sreshtam Sonvagadit Paratman. The great pain experienced by Gajendra made him remember the knowledge and devotion of his earlier life as Indradyumna, the great devotee. With his trunk, he plucked white lotuses and offered them to God. He worshipped God with flowers and continuously chanted the great stotram to the Nirguna Brahman. The great stotra of Gajendra is present in the 8th skanda, 3rd adhyaya of the Bhagavata Mahapurana. Paratman Saha, O Supreme God, that Gajendra, Artivyakta Praktana Jnana Bhaktihi, the knowledge and devotion of the earlier life that became manifest because of his pain. Shunda Utchiptaihi, plucked with his trunk and taken up. Pundarikaihi Samarchan, worshipping with white lotuses. Purvabhyastam, practiced in his previous life. Nirvisheshatmanishtam, full of the Nirvishesha Brahman. Stotra Shreshtam, the great stotram. Anvagadit, he continuously recited the great stotram. Shrutva stotram nirgunastam samastam brahmeshadyairnahamitya prayate sarvatma tvam bhuri karunya vegat Tarsharuda prechito bhupurastat. Gajendra, without referring to any particular god, had praised the Nirguna Brahman. Brahma and other gods, having different names and forms, thought that the stotram was not addressed to them, and so they did not come to rescue Gajendra. The all-pervasive god Vishnu, as soon as he heard the stotram, mounted on Garuda, who is a form of the Vedas, and carrying his chakra with great speed, came rushing to rescue Gajendra. Other devatas also accompanied God Vishnu. Now coming to the verse, Nirgunastam, relating to the Nirguna Brahman. Stotram samastam shrutva. Hearing the entire stotram, Brahmeshadhyaihi, by Brahma, Shiva and others. Aham na iti, I am not this. Thus, Aprayate, did not come to Gajendra's rescue. Sarvatma Tvam, you who are all pervasive. Bhuri Karunya Vegat, speedily with great compassion. Tarshya Rudaha, mounted on Garuda. Purastat Prechitaha Abhuhu, was seen in front of Gajendra. Hastindram tam hastapadmena dhritva chakrena tvam nakravaryam vyadarihi gandharvesmin mukta shape sahasti Tvatsarupyam prapyade dipyate sma. When Gajendra saw God Vishnu mounted on Garuda in the sky, he with his trunk offered a lotus to God and spoke with great difficulty and said, O Narayana, O Jagadguru, O Bhagavan, salutations to you. When God saw that Gajendra was in great pain, he jumped down from Garuda and removed both Gajendra and the crocodile from the water. Then, in front of the gods, Vishnu, with his discus, cut the mouth of the crocodile and rescued Gajendra. The Gandharva Huhu became free from his curse, and Gajendra got Sarupya Mukti and shone brilliantly. Coming to the verse, Tam Hastindram, that Gajendra, Tvam Hasta Padmena Dhritva, uplifting him with your lotus hands, Chakrena, with chakra, Nakravaryam Vyadarihi, you killed the great crocodile. Asmin Mukta Shape Gandharve, when the Gandharva became free from curse. Sahahasti, that elephant. Tvat Sarupyam Prapya Dedipyate Sma, getting a form like you, shone brilliantly. Etadvrittam tvam cha mam cha prageyo gayet soyam bhuyase shreyase syat ityuktvainam tena sardam gatastvam dishnyam vishno pahi vatalayesha. The stotram chanted by Gajendra to God Vishnu is considered very auspicious. In the Puranam, God himself says, Ye mam stuvantyanenanga pratibudhya nishatyaye tesham pranatyaye chaham dadami vimalam matim. The Bhagavata Puranam, 8th Skanda, 4th Adhyaya, 25th verse, which means, to those who wake up early in the morning in the Brahma Muhurta and sing this stotra, to them I grant a clear mind at the end of their lives. Then Bhagavan Vishnu left for his abode Vaikunta along with his devotee Gajendra. Coming to the verse, Vishnu, O you God Vishnu, etat vrittam tvam cha mam cha. This happening, and you, Gajendra, and me, the God. Yaha prage gayet, saha ayam, who in the early morning sings, he bhuyase shreyase syat, gets many great things in his life. Iti enam uktva, you saying thus to Gajendra, tena sardam, along with him, along with Gajendra, dishnyam gataha, you went to your abode Vaikunta. He Vatalayesha Pahi, O God of Guruvayur, please protect me.